We're here with Greg Bimm at the Illinois Music Educators Convention, and we are in the midst of our BOA alumni campaign, and want to just ask you a couple questions. Marian's involvement with this and your involvement with the program. Why don't you give us just a little bit of history of Marian's involvement with Bands of America?
There is not a little history of Marian's involvement with Bands of America. Our involvement goes back to 1981. We were asked to be the clinic band and came in and did a clinic with Bob Buckner and Fred Sanford and L.J. Hancock and just a litany of incredible folks. And from then on we started competing in summer nationals, and we did up until '88 when it stopped. And since 1984 we've been at Grand Nationals every year and have had a great time. And a lot of luck too, in truth. And then 1992, I think, was the first concert band festival. We were involved with the first concert festival, and then every time it changed venues, we got a chance to play at the new venue. And so it's been 29 years, I think. So we've had a long and happy relationship. During all that time, I recently, concerning the alumni campaign, I recently wrote a note to my students, my former students. Bands of America has been a part of our growth. There's no real way to say it a different way. We just, as I reflected on those 29 years, at every step of my program's growth, there was a venue for Bands of America. There was an energy level that we could gain from Bands of America. There was a place for us to play in comparison with other great bands and play for wonderful judges. In front of great crowds. It's just been an amazing thing. That energy level transferred those 29 years into my program, and it's been a substantial part. One of the things I said to my kids is we would not be the Marian that we are right now if it wasn't for Bands of America.
As we look at this campaign, which really is about putting this organization back on a solid footing, the economic times right now are a bit challenging for all of us, and we appreciate the support of folks like you who have been involved since day one. Tell me about that communication. You sent a letter to your parents, which you talked about, but tell me about the communication you did with your kids.
The real truth is it's a very serious circumstance, and I came to realize just how serious and what the time frame was we were working in, and so I started to reflect on Bands of America and what it needed to be, what we needed to do to help, and what the world would be, what our world would be without Bands of America. And it would change negatively to an incredible degree. Bands of America is a part of who we have been and who we will still be. I started to share that with everybody. I shared it with our current parents. I shared it through a letter to our alums, so I sent an email blast to about 800 alumni from the very beginnings of our program all the way up to today, explaining to them my vision or my view of the part that Bands of America has played in our program, and reminding them after all these years what it was like to go on that field or go on that stage or play for John Painter and a litany of icons. And they have stepped up pretty greatly. I talked to my own kids, the kids that we have right now. The idea really that I share with them is Bands of America has been a part of our growth, has been a part of the fabric of who we've become, both as a band and me as a director. And I had them look at what they've experienced in their 1, 2, or 3 years at Marian, and how badly they want the next generation of Marian band students and the next generation of Marian band students to be able to experience the same things. And when you put that definition on Bands of America and its future, do we make sure that it's on a firm foundation so that it can go forward into many, many more years? The answer is it has to be a resounding yes. And so building support or building energy behind that took nothing. The real truth is it's a no-brainer. And all the kids are, they're pumped about it, and our alums have written back to me. It was a good chance for me to get in touch with some of those guys and people that I haven't seen for 30 years, and they have really stood up, and I keep hearing more things. Well, we haven't been in touch with them yet, but we're going to. Mr. Bimm, can you, some of them call me Mr. Bimm, can you, now what's really going on here? What do you think they need? And so it's been a pretty energized thing for us too, and very exciting. the only negative side of that is we're looking at a real situation where if we fail, well, failure is that's not acceptable.
For you personally, what has this meant? Because you and Connie have made a sizable contribution as well.
I don't think that I can quantify that. When I think about it, when I started in Bands of America, I was really young, very aggressive, and nothing that hasn't changed. But very inexperienced, and there were limits to what the things that I had been able to do so far, and it goes through the course of 30 years of wonderful experiences. I can't count the number of friends that I've made. Honestly, I have friends all over the country, and I think most of them I might not have had the chance to meet or get to know if it hadn't been for my participation in Bands of America. It was just that place where we all met in the summer, or we all met on the field at Grand Nationals, or we all met at Midwest after being at Grand Nationals or whatever. And so the friendships that I've gained it's just it's countless. The experiences have made me the band director that I try to be today. Both from the earliest ones with watching Bob Buckner and LJ and Fred Sanford work with my kids in '81. The first Bands of America Concert Festival, standing on the stage and looking up in the audience and the judges and seeing Painter and Ravelli and Gabriel and these people who were the absolute pinnacle of what I wanted to be. And the feedback, the things that I've gotten from tapes, both from marching band and the concert festival, the amount of knowledge that I've gained just from the sharing factor, sitting and talking with people. The first time I met Alfred Watkins was in Whitewater, Wisconsin, and we literally sat and talked all night, and started a long-time friendship now. And so there is no way to quantify that. There's no way to say how much have I gained. If Bands of America didn't exist, there wouldn't have been another place. I know for a fact when I was younger that place didn't exist. There wasn't that venue. There wasn't that opportunity. And so Bands of America has been that focal point where I've gotten to meet so many people and learn so many things that there would not have, I couldn't have done that if it hadn't been for my participation. So grateful, way.
We've got this campaign that we've got to raise $250,000 really in the next month, by the end of February, which is the end of our fiscal year. If you could have an opportunity to talk to your peers out there, these friends you've talked about that you've made that are teaching, what would you say to those folks?
All of my friends from all these years, you have bands that know how to succeed. And all it is saying, look, this is what we need to do. Let's just find ways to do it. Collect this now, write to alums. I mean, they have really come forward for us. Your band parents know how special this is. And if you just look at the one fact, look at your band life and reflect on what it would be without Bands of America, and that takes you right to the answer. It would not be the same. We would not have the gift of all of our friendships. We would not have had the place to meet that we have. And so it's an easy thing to do, and I hate to say it's an easy sell because the word sell sounds a little funny, but that's the real truth. It's a very easy thing to convince people that it's valid and that it's a necessary thing, and it's really timely. We only have 4 more weeks, and so it's very, very important that you just decide to move on it and let it be what it is for your program. If all of us do that, we can make this something that's rock solid for after we're retired, for the next generation of band directors, for the next generation of band kids. And every one of us knows it's valid. We've been there before. We've been on the field marching. We've been on the concert stage playing. And we know just how valuable this is. And so just take the time to do it, but don't wait. You really need to get to the kids right away because it does take time to turn some of this stuff around. Okay? Everybody should step up.
Well, Greg, thanks very much. And as the sign said, we have been blessed to have over 1 million kids 1.25 million kids come through the programs for the last 30 plus years. You've had many of them. The folks that are watching this have had many as well. I'm blown away by Marian's support. I appreciate it a great deal. And as you said, please do it. I mean, we've done the math. It's not that hard with that many folks and many programs as we touch thousands of band programs over the years. We really need to get 15 groups at that founding alumni club level, which is a $3,000 contribution, which for some of these programs should not be that hard. We need to get another 30 plus groups at the $1,000 finalist level, and probably 50 to 75 at the next level, which is the semifinals level, all of which is very doable in a very short amount of time. So as Greg said, please start now, and thanks for your support, and we look forward to doing this for the next million students over the next number of years. Thanks very much.